Two of the red-eyed drones are now approaching the green-eyed drone while holding a crown with their long metal prongs. Then they drop the crown on top of the red-eyed drones from above, but the crown hits the propeller on its way down. It is flung into one of the walls at great speed, ricocheting a few times before it actually falls on the ground. What in the God's name? Rick starts to say, too stunned to be able to finish a sentence. What are you even trying to... Darren, I give up. You say something to him. I think what my friend is trying to ask is, what was the purpose of all this? Darren says, was that really the reason why you called us all the way here to the place to show us this farce of a coronation? Negative, the green-eyed drone says with the overseer's tone of voice. What you have seen was not a farce for all intents and purposes. This coronation was as legitimate as most other such events that have been done in Variety throughout history. The only major difference was that, unlike most of other coronations, this one was done in private, only to a very limited audience for obvious reasons. So Melinda says, what you are trying to say here is that even if nobody in the entire city aside from us has seen your coronation, we're still going to consider yourself as the legitimate king of Orlando from now on, and you will begin to rule the kingdom from the shadows. Precisely, the overseer says. It should also be easier for us to have a conversation now that we are each aware of our own social status. If you have any trouble finding ways to address me from now on, you can try calling me your majesty and my king. Either one will do. Yes, your majesty. Yes, my king. I hope you're joking. Yeah, you're not our majesty because we are not citizens of the city. I hope you're joking. The overseer protocol was indeed making a sarcastic joke, the green-eyed drone says. In reality, the overseer could not care less about the way you address him, as long as you make it clear enough that you're talking to him. Huh, I say. Well, I'm glad that we got that cleared up then. You're making it seem like you still want us to consider ourselves equal to you, Gate says. But if that is the case, then why did you make us walk all the way here to the palace? Why not just send one of your green-eyed drones to talk to us instead? Was that not meant as a message to us in order to remind us who is truly in control of the city? Incorrect, the overseer says. The overseer protocol is not designed to use such underhanded intimidation tactics to achieve its goal. My method of intimidation are far more direct to the point. I assure you that summoning you here was only meant as a stalling tactic and nothing else. There was no other hidden meaning behind my actions. What do you mean by it was a stalling tactic? Sadrak says. A stalling tactic for what? I believe it would be quicker to give you a demonstration than to explain it to you, Overseer says. Please stand by. If you are to experience any discomfort during the next few minutes, you are advised to seek out nearest red-eyed unit for a quick medical checkup. As soon as the green-eyed drone stops talking, the world around us suddenly disappears, and it is replaced by a sea of light as far as the eye can see. It doesn't take me long to realize that my perspective has once again been forcefully switched to that of my soul on the ethereal plane, and that all of our souls were kicked out of our minds again by the Overseer. When I look around us, I see that aside from all of my friends, the green-eyed drone that we were talking to earlier, we are also being accompanied by around 100 or so red-eyed drones that are surrounding us from every direction, making it impossible for us to escape from both. One other thing I'm noticing is that both Flower and Luna souls are here with us as well, which means that there is currently nobody inside Flower's sanctuary from the ethereal plane to control Flower's body from the earthen plane. As you can see, the green-eyed drone tells us on the ethereal plane, while you were busy making your way to the palace, I've been working on improving my soul displacement technique so that it now transports your soul to an exact location on the ethereal plane, instead of randomly teleporting you all across the ether. I've also made use of this time to further develop a disintegration beam that can only function in the ethereal plane. Would you like to see it in action? Alright, we get it, Hadrick says. This is you're intimidating us directly. So what's next then? Are you going to completely ignore our deal? Or do whatever you want now that you've shown us who is in charge? Negative. The Overseer says the terms of our initial agreement still apply. I am merely showing you what I'm capable of, in case you feel the need to add new requests to your list. So we are free to leave the city then, Hadrick says. Is the lockdown over? Affirmative. The Overseer says you and your friends can now walk in and out of Orlando whenever you want. What about the King of the Underground and the rebels that you imprisoned? You still guarantee their safety. Those of them who are still alive will not be harmed under our circumstances, just as we agreed, the Overseer says. Good, Darren says, that is good. One clarification that needs to be made, however, is that the King of the Underground is not in fact still alive, Overseer said. He was killed in the ethereal plane along with Peter by your friend Barry. What? Darren first has confused, then he turns to me. You killed them? You didn't even tell me. I was going to tell you about it. I say I was just waiting for the right opportunity. Barry, we all agree that we would try our best to make as much of the rebels alive as possible, Darren says. But we do something like this. I couldn't just leave them there. I said they were too dangerous to be kept alive. So you're just going to kill anyone who might pose a danger to you in the future. Is that it? Darren asked me. No, but we already know that the King of the Underground wanted to have us assassinated, I say. What was the guarantee that he wouldn't try the same thing once he got out of the prison? And what about Layla and Dr. Rydzik? How could we leave them in the city with that madman still running loose? You can't just decide things like this on a whim, Darren says. We're talking about the people's lives here. You said the King of the Underground wanted us assassinated, but that's barely any proof that Peter was even involved in the plot. But would you kill him too, just because he was a witness? That is one of the reasons, I admit to him, but he was also one of the rebels' leaders directly working under him. Even if he wasn't directly involved in the plot to kill us, he surely must have at least known about it. You disappoint me, Barry, Darren says in a sad tone of voice. I thought you were better than this. I don't understand how we could. He pauses. Never mind. He continues after a short while. It doesn't look like my words from me will make you change your mind, so I think it might be better to drop the subject altogether. What's done is done. Let's try to focus on the future. I don't see why he's this angry. I'm amazed that he is this angry. Like, is he that much of a fucking idealist or something? Like, that's weird. He's weird. Like, the only reason we even know the fact that the King of the Underground would not kill us is because he left us alive because we died. That's how we figured that out. That's how we went to a dead end, and that's how we figured it out. So, like, under what logic other than that, a way of knowing that that's how we die, this entire situation works out? Like, that's ridiculous. The only thing we could have done was kill him. Like, honestly, look at how strong he is. Like, we barely, like, it's entirely circumstantial how we won. Have you seen Kung Fu Panda? Like, you need to know, like, most of the characters in Kung Fu Panda, like, fight. They fight, like, using martial arts and all that. The main character, Po, the Dragon Warrior, he seems to always fight using, like, how should I put this? Environment. You will see that, like, a lot of his fights are not like straight, combat based. Like, they're not based like straight upon his ability to fight. A lot of the time they're just like environmental things. He would just, like, he's very quick on the draw, which is still a skill, don't get me wrong. That is still a skill that he immediately looks at the environment. He's like, oh, if I do this, then this would happen, and then that's great. But, like, that's the thing. I don't know where I was going with this. I completely forgot what the original takeaway from this was. But yeah, hopefully you got it. Never mind. He continues after a short while. Whatever, we have read that. Here, overseer Melindra says, you mentioned earlier that you would only rule the city from the shadows. Who's going to be officially king then? That remains to be seen, the overseer says. Ideally, it should be someone who is easily manipulatable, but also not stupid enough to give away his connection to me. Most people would react badly if they found out that the machines was the real ruler behind the scenes. So it would be best to avoid such a scenario. Right, Melindra says. So what are you planning to do with the Ceridium towers now that you have all full control of the city? Kate asks. The overseer protocol would like to remind you that we had not reached a proper conclusion when we discussed this subject before the battle, the overseer says. I know, Kate says, that's why I'm asking. There is no need to worry, the Green Eyed Drone says. The overseer protocol assures you that the issues concerning the towers will be resolved. What is that supposed to mean? Kate says. Are you going to free the prisoners or not? Question unclear, Overseer protocol says. Unfortunately, the Overseer protocol cannot provide you with the correct answer. If your question is too vague, please rephrase your previous query. You bastard, Kate says angrily. My question was clear, and you know that as well. Are you going to answer me or not? The Overseer protocol is detecting a hostile tone in your voice. The Overseer says, if you do not correct your attitude, I may be forced to take action against your group. According to my calculation, Barry, Luna, and Flower will not be able to defend all of you from the disintegration beam of my red-eyed drones. The rest of you are almost powerless here on the ethereal plane. If you wish to confront me, then you should be aware that the blood of your friends will be on your hands. Think to yourself, is it really worth it to have your friends die for the sake of some mages that you didn't even know about before you came to Allender? Kate does not answer the Overseer, but I can see on her face that she is very conflicted. Your time is up, the Overseer says. A few more seconds of silence. Initiating disintegration sequence in 3, 2, 1.